जया यमुनातीरवनचारी जया कुञ्ज विहारी जया यमुनातीरवनचारी जया कुञ्ज विहारी जय राधा माधवा जया कुञ्ज विहारी जय राधा माधवा जया कुञ्ज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधवा जया कुञ्ज विहारी जय राधा माधवा जया कुञ्ज विहारी। गांधर का गिरधारी गौरंग महाप्रभु की जय, गौरताय की जय, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय, पंचतत्व की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, sloka number 27. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So chapter 2, text number 27. We'll recite the sloka. So we'll try to recite each of the words and then line by line. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mrutasya cha tasmad अपरिहार्यर्थे न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. Line by line will recite. You can repeat after me. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर् ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च तस्माद् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे तस्माद् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. Would you like to recite? जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर् ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च अपरिहार्येऽर्थे तस्माद् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So, word to word translations. Jatasya, of one who has taken his birth. He, certainly. Dhruvaha, a fact. Mrityuho, death. Dhruvam, it is also a fact. Janma, birth. Mritasya, of the dead. Cha, also. Tasmat, therefore. Apariharye, of that which is unavoidable. Ardhe, in the matter. Na, do not. Tvam, you. Shochitum, to lament. Arhasi, deserve. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life, and after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subject to the reactions of sinful acts, of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. Om Ajnanativrandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I hope you have been attending the classes every day evening.
Last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm attending daily.
Yeah, very nice. You are also from? Very nice. Okay. So I'm only asking just to see whether you have that continuity of the previous slokas. That's the reason I'm asking. Very nice. So we are into the chapter of second chapter, which is summarized, the contents of the Gita summarized. So Prabhupada has very nicely given this title, which summarizes the even entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so before we get into the details of the today's sloka, so a little bit we'll try to recap from the context. So during the middle of the battle, Arjuna was feeling very compassionate. So he is feeling very compassionate for what? For seeing his relatives, seeing his elders, seeing his friends, seeing his guru-like figures, personalities. He was very feeling compassionate. With whom am I going to fight? These are the people with whom I have grown up. These are the people who have brought me up. They are the elders. How can I be killing them? How can I be cause of their death? That is the feeling of compassion. And another thing, what he was thinking, if I kill all these people, and even if I win, with whom will I be enjoying? Right? To enjoy, we need some close people, isn't it? So with whom I am going to enjoy? This is another thing. And then he also felt, by killing these people who are like a worshipable personalities, am I not incurring sin? So this is another question that was haunting him. And then by killing all these people, and the families become without protection. The families, the women of the family or the children of the family will be without protection, without like father-like personalities or grandfather-like personalities. So then they will be misguided. Such a family without a father, or without husband, or without children, without grandfather-like personalities, they will be prone to get misguided or exploited by the society. So it will lead to Varna Shankara. So he was having all these thoughts in mind. He was very feeling compassionate. He is very morose. He was very morose. And then he ultimately said, no, I can't fight. I'm confused. Then he surrenders to Krishna, saying that, Karpanya dosho bhata svabhava pruchantvam dharmam samudha cheta. So dharma samudha cheta. So samudha cheta, my mind is bewildered and confused. I am not able to figure out what is right thing for me to do. So then he surrenders to Krishna, pleads him, I accept you as my guru, my spiritual master. Please guide me. What is beneficial for me? What is that I am supposed to do? This is how he surrenders. And then what Krishna says now? Then he starts, first chastising him. On one side you are, speaking like a pandita, so talking about dharmic principles and compassion, elders and Varna Sankara. Yes, those are right things. There is no doubt they are right. But beyond this dharma, there is a higher prescribed duty, so which is also essential. So that is very essential. He is trying to trying to rather ignore or missing that point. So that's where Krishna starts saying, Asojatvan, what is that? Asochayan anvasochastvam. Right? That is the first sloka. Asochayan anvasochastvam prajnavadham cha bhasase. Asochayan, whatever is not to be thought of, you are giving too much thinking, or you are thinking about it too much. And then you are speaking like a pandita. Prajna vadham cha bhashase. Gatasum agatasum cha nanu sochanti pandita. Those who have passed, left us, or those with whom we are living now. Pandita, a wise or scholarly person, does not lament for them, because now with that chastisement he started giving him jnana. he is first giving him jnana. All this is starting with his compassion. So his compassion for his relatives. So that means he is kind of attached to these bodies of be it relatives, elders, guru, friends, all this. So first he want to cut off the bodily attachment. So Krishna, that's why he started speaking about the topic of the soul, spirit and matter. He started speaking about it. So if you recall about all the previous slokas, he started speaking about, so you were there in the past, I was there in the past, I will be there in the future, you will be there in the future. So we are all going to be living eternally. So even if you kill in the so-called battlefield of Kurukshetra all these elders, none of them are going to be lost. They will remain there, same as you and me. That's how Krishna says. And so eternity of the souls, he started speaking about it. Not only that, even this very life itself, you are going through this, the same soul or the body is undergoing changes, and body will continue to undergo changes in future too. And at some point of time, body will be reaching that kind of a state where this body has to be left. It has to be left behind, and we have to take another body. So that's how he starts speaking. Then he speaks about further about this, the soul more elaborately, saying he compares that with what is that comparison he makes the body with? Cloth, right? Vasamsi jirnani yada vidam vihaya. Just like a cloth, torn cloth. So we have to leave the cloth after the certain uses. It gets torn and we have to leave that cloth and we have to take new cloth. Similarly, you are also going to take new body. He speaks about that. Then he speaks about these qualities of the soul. The soul, Atma, which is active in this body, could neither be dried, nor withered, nor could be broken, nor could be cut. Nothing could be done. It's eternal. It's a fragment, but it is eternal. And then he says, talks about what else? Yes, nainam chindanti the sastrani. So no weapon or nothing could cut or into parts or anything. So such is the great the qualities the soul has. Nothing could be done. Nobody could do anything to it. Then after speaking about this, the Sankhya philosophy of the spirit and matter, Krishna speaks about certain other unauthorized philosophies where they think that one will continue to take birth, or one will, once they have taken birth and died, they will not take rebirth again. He speaks about such kind of unauthorized philosophy. So the reason why he is saying is, the Bhagavad Gita is spoken for all classes of people, and to give them the knowledge or direction so that they will be guided on the right knowledge or Vedic knowledge. So he is speaking on addressing to or trying to cover all sections of the people, and then he is speaking these so-called unauthorized philosophies, which they talk about voidism. That means once this body is left, after leaving this body, shunya, there is nothing else. That kind of concept, voidism philosophy. All this he speaks. Then he now comes into a point where a simple concept he says. What is that simple concept? Everybody is taking birth and everybody is dying also. That is happening in front of us. Any layman person who does not have any Vedic wisdom or Vedic knowledge has this much simple understanding. So that's what now Krishna started speaking about it. What he says? Jatasya dhruva mrityur. Jatasya, the one who has taken birth, is sure to die. Dhruva mrityur. Dhruva, certain to die. Mrityur, certain to die. One who has taken birth is sure to die. Who is sure to die. Not only that, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. It is also certain that one who has died will also take birth again. So this we see, right? We also in our own families also, suppose a elder person in the family, say grandfather passes away or great grandfather, then we say that, oh, our grandfather has born again now, right? We say that, right? So our grandfather has not taken, he has born in this family again, right? So this some knowingly or unknowingly we know certain things, right? We may not have very strong backing of the philosophy or scriptures, but at least we know at high level or some broadly, vaguely rather, certain some of these concepts. So similarly he is saying that. So if that is the case, one he is supposed to take a repeated birth and death. One who has taken birth, he is sure to die, and one who is sure to has died is again going to take birth again. If that is the continuity of the nature of this the living entities, then why do you worry? These so-called elders, certainly after a certain point of time, they are also going to leave their body. And Prabhupada says that yes, but what you are trying to, you are not intentionally or for no reason, you are not trying to cause violence here. Right? Your violence or battle is for the right cause, right purpose. That is dharma yuddha. Battle to keep establish dharma, to upkeep the dharma. Why? That is the responsibility of Kshatriya. Right? That is the responsibility of Kshatriya. So, tasmat apariharyarthe. So, if that is the inevitable thing, such a death is certainly awaiting everyone, not only the elders who are standing in the battlefield, everyone such a death is awaiting. If that is the case, natvam sochit marhasi. You have no right or no reason for you to lament. Sochitam, no reason to lament. No reason to lament. It is the same thing initially also he says in that, right? Yeah, very first, second sloka, so Krishna says, the first sloka, Sanjaya says, tam tadha krupaya vishtum astu purnakulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudhana vishidantam with lamenting, with tears in his eyes, with full of compassion. He started again continuing speaking to Krishna. That's what Sanjaya says, the very first sloka of this chapter. Vishidantam, with lamentation. So here again saying, so he is giving a instruction or formula to overcome this lamentation. Natvam shochit marhasi. No reason for you to lament. You don't have to lament. When that will happen, no lamentation. When will we reach the state of no lamentation? How that will happen? When we understand this, the nature of this world, nature of these living entities, how they take birth, how they live, all this. If you understand it, there is no reason for lamentation. Right? Usually, certainly, we ourselves also, we see in our own personal lives, personal experience too. Right? Certainly, our elders in the family have passed. Certainly, it is said so much of separation. There is no doubt about it, because we have spent so much of our life, time. We played with them, or we were brought up under their shelter. Certainly, we have that attachment. We will have that. So that's why Prabhupada says that we won't be without any love or affection. We can't be like a stone, right? We can't be like a stone. But at the same time, we understand there's a reason to to certain extent, you certainly feel that separation. Beyond that, you will see the higher purpose, higher reason, right? So that has to be seen. If we continue to be feeling that separation, what would that lead to? It would lead to distraction in your own prescribed duties. So what are the duties that you have? You will not be able to perform, right? So there is no reason for the lamentation. Same thing concept he says in the previous two slokas also. So sloka 25, nanu sochitam arhasi. There again, nanu sochitam. There is no reason for you to lament or grieve, because he says avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate. He says, this is all uchite. It is said. What is said? All this is said about the soul. What is said? Avyakto. Soul is invisible. And then achintyo, achintyam, achintyaha, inconceivable. You can't understand with the logic. Analytically, you can't understand it. There are topics of this nature which are spiritual, have to be understood by hearing, by the understanding of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. It is not that like a science experiment which you go to laboratory and try to prove whether it is really working or not working. It is not possible. Yes, certain things possible, you may be able to demonstrate or try to understand in certain fashion, but certain things which are beyond the understanding of this logic or matter, the world, so cannot be understood. All these are spiritual topics which are beyond this material realm. Topics which are beyond this material realm cannot be understood. Right? It is as simple as that. If somebody wants to understand about the moon, we can't understand it. What is there on the moon? We belong to this Mother Earth. Right? We can't understand what is there on the moon. Of course, scientists are trying to understand it. Similarly, if there is something understood that is beyond this material world, related to Vaikuntha, we can't understand that now. But that has to be heard, understood on the basis of Sadhu, Shastra, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So yes, it is invisible, inconceivable, avikaryaha, unchangeable. That is the nature of the soul. If that is the case, you are not going to, just by killing, causing violence or bloodshed in this battle, you are not causing anything. You are not causing, or you are not able to influence to the soul, which is avyakto, achintyam, avikaryo. So one who knows this, tasmad evam viditvainam, one who knows this has no reason to lament again, he says, sloka 25. Nanu sochitam arhasi. Again sloka 26, he says, nainam sochitam arhasi, end of the sentence again, the sloka. That is where he is speaking about other unauthorized philosophies. Mostly it is called as atheistic philosophies, where they think that people are always born, or the living it always born, and they always die. Right? They are always born, that means they are born, so you are not the cause for their birth, and they are always die, so you are not the cause for their death. Then their death also, they are sure to die anyhow. And even if you think that you are causing death to them, there is no rebirth again in their concept. Voidism. Once death is there, nothing. There is nothing beyond that. It's a full stop. There is no karma there. So that is kind of. So with all these kind of philosophies, try to corner him, saying that, see, this is the body, this is a matter, it's a temporary. The spirit is the eternal soul. Same thing he is saying in this sloka. Jatasya dhruvam mrityur, dhruvam mrityam, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. That means whoever has taken birth, he is not living on this planet or in this world forever. No, they are going to die. This is the temporary nature of this world, isn't it? Everything, not only the living beings, anything, even the cell phone, what we have, it is outdated within 2 years, 3 years, right? Or it will start not working also because of slow performance. You can't load any more apps, hanging, right? You can't. So you have to change that mobile also, anything for that matter. Similarly, this body also, it won't be usable. So he says that everything in this material world, particularly living entities, not the non-living entities, they undergo 6 vikaras, Shad vikara, 6 vikaras. What is that? Jayate, it comes into existence, it takes birth. Jayate. Asit, it stays like that, it takes birth and stays like that. So baby, so baby more or less in the state of baby condition. You call the baby as a baby until 1 year. After that, you don't call any more baby, right? You will cause, start calling as toddler or like that, right? So like that. So until for some period of time, the baby state is there, existence, and then what is that? It grows. It grows. What is the word for that? I do not of it. Vardhate. Vardhate. Vardhana. Because it grows. It grows. And after Vardhate, what is something? Viparinamate. So the baby takes birth, exists for some time or exists, and then grows further, then produces, it transforms itself into more babies, right? Once we reach into the state of adulthood, that they will further lead to the progeny, further production of the further living entities. Then kshiyate, after some time again decay happens, degradation of this body happens, until it nashyate, gets leaves the body or gets killed, or mrityu, death. So these Shad vikaras happen to everybody, all the living entities, all the living entities. And to the matter also you can apply this kind of understanding or concept. So one who has taken birth is sure to die, right? And one who has died will again take janma next birth. And how that will depend? That will depend upon what we do in this life, the karma. So this is where the karma siddhanta or the reincarnation concept, punarjanma, right? The reincarnation of punarjanma, rebirth, the concept of rebirth comes, which Krishna is speaking, touching upon here. So that depends upon what we do in this life. There is a saying, what we sow is what you reap. So whatever we sow, what are the good deeds, what are the bad deeds I do, that's what I have to face the consequence of it, the reactions of it. So it's so simple as that. Right? And in the same life also, we know if we have not studied well in our academics in the college time, definitely there is no way that we would have got into a good job now. Right? Similarly, what I do today is what will be placing me tomorrow, or maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line. Right? Same thing, even after birth also same thing, it continues, the same concept continues. So this is another thing we have to understand. So between birth and death, what we do determines what would be the next life. What would be the next life? So if I am very irresponsible now, not doing my duty, definitely that is also sinful. Right? If I am married but do not take care of my wife, do not take care of my children, so I am irresponsible. Right? Certainly I am going to take consequence of it, bear the consequence of it, somehow or other. Right? Because we may try to escape from the punishment of from someone or from government or someone, right? But we can't escape the loss of the nature. Everything is noted and recorded. All the acts and deeds of us are noted and recorded. That is how Krishna has deployed his agencies, who will witness each and every activity. Right? The sun is witnessing us. The night is witnessing us. The moon is witnessing us. Everything is witnessing all our acts and deeds. There is no way that we can escape from this. So, yeah, so what we do is what determines the next life. That's one. Second thing is, what we have to understand is, if we do not, there are two, from this sloka we can, two things we can understand. One, from the performing of duties perspective, and from getting delivered, coming out of this lamentation, what is the real understanding, knowledge, ajnana is real, that's one part. So that's what we are saying. So jatasya dhruvam mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya, this is the concept. If you understand this concept, we won't be lamenting, we won't be so much attached to the things happening. You will be rather focused on your duty. Okay, that's one. Second thing, what are the duties that usually the person in this material world does? That's another part now. As as a practical application, we have to see, okay, understand, okay, everybody who is sure to take the birth, he is sure to take death again. So then, what am I supposed to do now? Between birth and death, okay, this is the lifetime that is I have now, be it 50 years, be it 80 years, be it 100 years, whatever, right? So everybody has certain fate. The moment one has taken birth, blessed with the birth, there is also the destiny, or the end date is also written. It's just that we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. So this is another thing we have to understand. So Prabhupada he always says, he says that people are not adequately afraid of fear of this death. He says that we are not adequately fear of death. And sometimes that's one. Second time, another thing is, people are also very shying away to think about the death, right? It's a very unauspicious thing. The moment you talk about, say, death or something like, well, family members are sitting together, if you start talking about death, no, what is this topic? Very untouchable topic, unauspicious topic. But that is the fact. But nobody wants to talk about it. And somehow we want to keep it behind and not be feeling afraid or frightened by it. So that might be the case initially. But what happens after a certain age, particularly if you look at our father or grandfather or elders, they will be very much worried. Everything what they need to do, they will be worried. Oh, what will happen? If I do like this, what will happen? If I do like that, what will happen? Right? So this fear is there. It's not that only they have fear, we also have fear. Everybody has fear. So then how to use this, the time span that have between birth and death, how to use it? How should I direct my effort and energy is very important. That's what we can do. No? We can't worry about what I did in the past life. Right? Or even I can't even worry about what I did in my childhood. Is it in my control? Can I reverse it? Nothing I could do. What I could do now is what I am doing right now. If I can do it direct them very nicely for right purpose, under right guidance, if I can do it. That's all we have in our control. Right? So that's why it's very important. Between birth and death, life presents us so many choices. Right? The choice today, yes, all of you have made choice to come here today and just hear it. I would also have made a choice to just stay back at home and start browsing my WhatsApp, what all messages have come. Isn't it? That's all the choice I have. But we have made a choice, chosen a choice which will help us to provide solution to the problems of this life. The problem of the life, Prabhupada says, the Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi is the problem of the life. Right? By doing continuous WhatsApp messages, browsing, chit-chatting, it will not solve my problem. It will not solve my problem. Yes, certain for social purposes, social reasons, to be connected with the family and all, it's required. But there is a limit. The moderation, regulation is very important in the life. Anything we do beyond that moderation is really killing. It's really killing the soul. It's very detrimental to this life. So that's where regulation is important. The moderation is important. So the life provides us with the full of choices. So what the choice I make, and that will place me in a better situation or troublesome situation. So Bhagavatam says that the materialistic way of life is called pavarga. Pavarga. You know what is varga? Pavarga. Varga. In alphabets, be it Telugu or Hindi, whichever our native languages, right? We have these what is that? Vowels and consonants, right? Vowels and consonants. So in that consonants, one of the varga is pavarga. Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. Isn't it? That's called pavarga. And it has a significance to this pavarga. So the materialistic way of life is called pavarga. So what this pa, fa, ba, bha, ma means? Pa means materialistic way of life is full of parishram, full of stress, full of like a anxiety, full of donkey like a work, endeavor, right? So much of effort, so much of struggle to maintain this body, But many times we do not just only endeavor for maintaining the body. If it is our goal is only to maintain the body, it's very easy. But our goal is not to maintain the body. Our goal is to think that how can I protect this body? How can I avoid my body getting so many illnesses, sickness? Or how can I place myself in a very comfortable situation? So the hankering is more towards it. That's what really making us so donkey like, to forces us to work like a donkey. Donkey, if it is just a donkey is looking for some just to maintain itself, if it goes to any part of the village or city, it will get a bunch of grass, isn't it? But to get the same bunch of grass, it has to carry a load of heavy load of things on its back, and to satisfy his or her master, and to get that a bunch of grass. But if it goes to outskirts of the Bangalore city, go to towards Hoskete and towards that side, so much of open lands, fields are there, so much of grass is easily available. So our life is also, if our goal is just to maintain this body and direct our energy, efforts towards Krishna or being connected with Krishna, life will be very easy to maintain. But many times, we are not satisfied with the dal khichdi. We are not satisfied with the simple sabji and curry. No, we want very lavish and laborious and things which put so much of trouble to trouble given to the wife. Because I want to eat something very luxurious, so I cause so much of misery to my wife, right? But if my desire is just to be happy with the dal khichdi, what is there? Dal khichdi also nourishes the body very nicely, right? It's a simple, plain, good for tummy, isn't it? So digestible, so nutritious, dal full of proteins. But we are not like that. We want to complicate things. That is where we will end up working like a donkey. Then what happens? That is parishram. Then fa called fena, the Sanskrit word fena. Fena means, you see, when you, again donkey or horse, if you see, if donkey or horse, if it is doing kind of a day long work, at the end of the day or some point it starts foaming. Did you notice? It starts foaming. With a lot of this thing. That foaming is because of it getting exhausted. It got tired. Out of exhaustion, so it starts foaming like anything. Similarly, we also get frustrated in the life. I'm struggling so much, day in, day out, working, like a donkey, spending hours of, say, 12 hours at office, but no promotion, no increment, or no appreciation from the family. Oh yeah, he's trying his best, to settle down in the life. No, nobody sees that. Nobody sees that. Everybody sees that how am I being satisfied, or how my desires have been fulfilled. That's why everybody try to see. If somebody is not fulfilling my desire, how much or the effort that other person is putting, there is no appreciation for that person. No appreciation. So that's why the anxiety, disturbance, feeling thirsty or exhausted in the life, frustrated in the life. Pa, Fena. So we talked about 2 alphabets. Then Ba. Ba, it is Sanskrit word is Vyardhata. That's why it is called Vyardhata. Vyardhata means futility of life. Okay, I endeavor so much, do like a donkey work. What is the end use of this? Am I going to carry all my bank balance along with me? Alexander also says, if you heard of that story of Alexander, he asked his hands to be kept open like this to communicate, to give that message that I conquered the whole world. But none of that has saved my life, and none of that is coming with me. So what is the use? Just to prove myself that I am capable, I am great warrior, Kshatriya, I can, nobody can fight with me or beat me, just to prove that I conquer and cause violence. See if you compare the Alexander kind of a conquering the whole world versus Arjuna's nothing here. Arjuna is feeling compassionate, but Alexander he does not have any compassion. Similarly, so how much bank balance we have? None of that is going to help us. Nowadays, the kind of diseases one is infected with are such a thing that at the younger age people are getting it. All ages, there is no excuse or no exception. Everybody is getting it. So if I have bank balance, then what is the use of that bank balance? Yes, bank balance is required, but that can only help to a certain extent. Beyond that, no, bank balance also cannot help. That is the futility of the life. I endeavored my whole life, did so much parishrama, and exhausted, frustrated with all these successes and failures in the life. What's the use of it? Vyardhata. Then Bha is bhai, fear. Constantly I am under threat. Am I going to keep my position, job at my office, or am I under threat with the inflation and the market economic conditions going up and down? How that will impact my job, and what will happen to me if I lose my job? Or what if I do not save enough? What will happen to me? Or what will happen to my children? Will they take care of me when I become elder? All this fear. Or will there be somebody encroaching and eyeing on my the opulence or assets? The fear, constant fear is there. Ultimately, mrityu, ma, mrityu. Pa, parishram, fa, fena, ba, vyardhata, bha, bhai, ma, mrityu, pavarga. This is the materialistic way of life. So between birth and death, this is the struggle that we have constantly we have. So we have to direct and use our efforts for the right purpose. If not in this lifetime, at least we should start settling our accounts at least in the next lifetime. But who knows what would be the next life? Next life could be much more worse than what I have right now. Who knows? So it's better, that's why there is a saying, you have to saturate your house when the lamp or light is there, right? There is a saying of that kind. So similarly, when you have this life, when this body is permitting, when this body is energetic, try doing something. Try doing some service for Krishna. So otherwise we don't know what will happen. The next moment we don't know. So that's why Prabhupada always says we have to be afraid of this, adequately afraid of this Maya. Maya can haunt us and do to us anything, anytime. It's unpredictable. Padam padam yat vipadam. Every moment is a step of danger. Danger is just hiding and try to haunt on us anytime. Padam padam yad vipadam. Every step is a danger. That's how this material world is. If I take up this job, what will happen? If I do not take up the job, what will happen? If I accept this kind of a work, what will happen? So all this constant fear, the doubt is there. But when we have a dependency on Krishna, so many animals are there, like animals as big as an elephant. Is that elephant worried about it anything? Or is that elephant diseased with some disease or something? No, right? It's very unlikely because of the way man-made the what do you call the troubles or deforestation, all that happening. There could be some disturbance to those animals or birds, but those animals, birds, they live depend on the nature. Whatever the nature provides, they depend on that. Similarly, we are also provided so many things by Krishna. We did not ask, right? We did not ask, but Krishna has given nice parentage, very nice family in which a father, mother is nicely taking care of us. He has given us nice parentage, but we are not able, never acknowledge that Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for giving me nice parents. Thank you, Krishna, for giving me nice facilities where I don't have to worry about my daily meal. Thank you, Krishna, for giving me such parents who has given me nice education to me. We never thank Krishna. We always complain what he has not given to me. You have given to me that person, that thing, but you did not give to me. This is how we complain. But rather, we just be satisfied with what Krishna has given. It does not mean that we don't have to try for promotion. No. First be satisfied, comfortably situated, so that your mind is not agitating, disturbing you. When mind is not agitating or disturbing you, you can nicely focus on your duties very nicely. Otherwise, if I start rejecting, start not accepting anything what I have, I am making my own life miserable. Right? Just accept what it is there. For whatever the reason, this is what I'm blessed with. Krishna, if you want to, this is what I deserve for. Thank you, Krishna. Certainly, I deserve much less, but you have given me more. Thank Him. He is a Supreme Father, right? He is a Supreme Father. He will not make you, deprive you of anything. He will not deprive you of anything, any of us. So that's where we have to depend on Krishna. There is one nice small story. I will say that, and then with that we will try to conclude this. And I'm sure in Mahabharata is one pastime where Panch Pandavas are there in the forest, right? At some point, Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira, was feeling very thirsty, right? So then he asks the Panch Pandavas, starting with the Bhima, to go and fetch water, right? He goes to a pond to fetch water as instructed by his brother Yudhishthira. And as he was able to take water from the pond, what happens? Yaksha Krishna. Yaksha actually, who is in the form of Yamaraj, who is in the form of Yaksha, tries to test him with this pastime, and he asks him, you can take water provided you answer my question. Then he asks series of questions. Of course, Bhima, being a Bhima, he does not care. He does not care. He tries to take water and he falls unconscious. Then the Yudhishthira getting worried on what happened to Bhima, so he sends Arjuna. Same thing happens, Nakula, Sahadeva. Ultimately he himself comes to that pond. Then as he was able to collect water, and he also sees his brothers lying there, so he suspects something goofy in this pond. So as he tried to collect again, Yaksha asks him, yes, if you answer my question, you are certainly allowed to take water. Then he asks so many series of questions, wonderful questions actually. In that, one of the questions related to this sloka is there. That's the reason I am just bringing that up.
Dharma asks, every moment so many people are dying. Why humans think about that?
So he says, Yaksha asks, Kim Ascharyam? What is that so amazing or bewildering thing in this material world? Is the question he asks. What is so much bewildering thing in this world? Makes you surprised, wondered. Then Dharmara says, yes, every moment in front of our eyes, we see people are taking birth, people are dying. But I never think that same situation, same fate is going to happen to me. I always think so, I am going to be Navayavanam. I am always always be youthful. But I don't foresee that same thing happen to me, same fate is happening to me. We see the same thing happening in our own families, right? That's what earlier we were saying. We experience that. Certainly they will be very sentimental and words during that time, but we forget all of that. The moment the day is passed, after 11 days of that ritual is passed, we forget everything. Gatam gataha, past is past. Right? Past is good. Past has to teach a lesson to us. We have to take lessons from the past, but we don't want to live in the past. That is the thing. But we don't understand this. We see that so many people, because of the way they led their life, how they suffered in the life, what kind of a death they have to take at the end. We don't try to take lessons out of it. ठीक है गया आदमी गया. So we try to somehow either comfort each other or ignore such a situation and not willing to learn anything from that such things, episodes or events in our life. Kim Ascharya, that's why every moment somebody is he says this is the sloka from Mahabharata. Ahani bhutani gachanti iha yamalayam. Ahani bhutani, the bhutani day and night bhutani gachanti, and then iha yamalayam are also going back to Yamalayam. But Seshaha, the people who are remaining, Seshaha, what they are saying? Seshaha sthiratvam. The remaining people who are remaining here, they think that I am going to be here forever like this. Seshaha sthiratvam icchanti, desiring to stay here forever. Kim Acharyam ataparam. Kim Acharyam ataparam. This is the most amazing, bewildering thing. When we see so many people dying, be it animals, living things, the humans or non-humans, but I think that that fate never reach me and never touch me. That's how I try to comfort and cheat myself. I may cheat myself. I may put a very false mask. How much should I do? Anti-aging formula and all this. But we may overcome some of the wrinkles. No, but age cannot be hidden. So this is what happens. So the one who could overcome this, the fear of death or the fear of life, is the one who is Vasudeva Bhaktam. Sorry, what is that? Vasudeva Bhaktanam. Only the devotees of the Lord, Vasudeva, are the ones who will be able to overcome these inauspicious things of the life. What are the inauspicious things of the life? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, the fear of all these things are very inauspicious. All these things one will be able to overcome. Who? One who is the Vasudeva Bhaktanam. Vasudeva Bhaktanam Ashubham Vidyate Kvachit Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Bhayam Naiva Upajayate. So one who is a Vasudeva Bhakta, he will be able to get freed from these fears of birth, death, age, old age by surrendering to Krishna. So surrendering to Krishna is very simple, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how to surrender to Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has exhibited. That is the whole purpose of his mission. And Krishna ended Bhagavad Gita saying that Sarva Dharman Parityajya, surrender unto me. But Krishna did not show how to surrender. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a clue to give because of mercy or compassion to these fallen souls. The Kali Yuga souls are so dull-minded. To help, guide them, he himself personally exhibited how a devotee, how one has to render devotional service, how to surrender to Krishna. And he has shown that example. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he has further guided us. The people of this modern age who are dull, always disturbed, always mischievous or having grabbing tendencies. So he further, Prabhupada has guided all of us. And that begins with Yasyam vai Shruyamanayam. By just merely hearing the Krishna Katha. Yasyam vai Shruyamanayam. Shruya, by just hearing it. Krishna Paramapurushe. What do you hear about? You hear it about Krishna Katha, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Paramapurushe. Bhaktir utpadete pumsaha. Immediately, pumsaha, all the mankind or humankind will be implanted with the devotion. And what happens now? Shoka moha bhayapaha. Apaha means extincts. What is extinguished? Shoka, the lamentation. Moha, illusion. Bhaya, fear. All the shoka, moha, bhaya, apaha, all this is extinguished. What is the process for that? Yasyam vai shruyamanayam. Just by mere hearing of Krishna Katha. This is what is the result of Krishna Katha. So we have to be very eager to hear Krishna Katha by studying Bhagavad Gita or studying Bhagavatam, hearing Prabhupada's lectures. A daily dose of medicine. This is the daily dose of medicine for us. So that we will become immune to this shoka, moha, bhaya. And further, Bhagavatam ends saying that it gives much more simpler or another formula. That is, Krite dhayito Vishnum Tretayam Yajato Makhai Dvapare Paricharyayam Kalotad Hari Kirtanat. Kalotad Hari Kirtanat. For every yuga there is a yuga dharma. And for this yuga dharma is the chanting of the Lord's holy name. Kalotad Hari Kirtanat. Just by merely chanting the Lord's names, we are always connected with Krishna. And Krishna, Abhaya Pradhata is a Mukti Pradhata and is a Abhaya Pradhata. Abhaya, Bhaya, Abhaya. So Bhaya is a fear, Abhaya is a without fear, rather fearless. One will become fearless. The moment we take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, by chanting the name with his names, by reading his the Katha or hearing his Katha, one will be fearless in his duties. Because we become fearless because we depend on Krishna. We depend on everything for Krishna. So these are the two potent processes which we have to somehow, between this birth and death, what are the life is presenting to us, fill this life with these two processes, that is hearing and chanting. Shruyamanayam and Har Kirtana. Just these two potent processes is enough. We don't have to even study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Yes, it is good. We can study, certainly we have to study, so there will be more firm in conviction. We will have more faith in what we are doing. But these are the two potent processes which Prabhupada, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are all given. So if we can just accept ourselves or surrender ourselves to this hearing and chanting process, that's it, and followed by prasadam, right? That is required, right? Anyhow, that is required. So simple processes, hearing, chanting and prasadam. So easy process. So with that, I'll just pause here. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. So if we have any questions, comments, we can.
And where there is a place. Here at least, no, for spiritual practice is very difficult. Why is Tukala, why is God made it like this? Because we have to suffer, why you have to suffer?
Very nice. So this material world is called as Durga. Durga is called a fort or jail or prison, right? So suppose if I am a victim, a convict, murdered something or did some very punishable kind of a crime or activity, I am sure I can expect police is not going to give a very 5-star services, he is not going to give me. Right? Will he give? No, he won't give. Right? So he want to teach me a lesson. He want to make me feel or correct my behavior, isn't it? Similarly, so this Durga, this so-called material world is also been created by Krishna in such a way that, okay, you wanted to, why first of all I have taken birth? Because I wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. Krishna, why you are only the enjoyer, why can't I be the enjoyer? I also want to enjoy. I want to have the taste of that so-called enjoyment. You want to feel the taste of enjoyment? Okay, go to material world, this one. You feel the taste of that enjoyment. The taste of enjoyment is what we talked about. Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. That's what is the life is about. And padam, padam, vipadam. Every step is a danger in this material world. Every step is ingrained with fear. What happens if I do like this? What happens if I don't do like this? A constant fear is there. Jivo jivasya jivanam. In this material world, every living entity depends on other living entity. This is full of exploitation. This is the way of life in this world. Somebody is trying to, it could be an organization trying to exploit us. It could be an organization, it could be another person also. To fulfill their desires, to derive some enjoyment themselves, they put us into trouble. This is the nature of the world. That's why it's the Dukkhalayam. There is no place. There is no constant or enjoyment or there's some pulses or the impulses or pulses of this sukha. The pleasure is there, right? So pleasure is there, just like when you eat any palatable dishes. Yes, you feel very happy. How long can I be eating? Right? It might be good, initially to eat until 2 gulab jamuns. If you start giving me 4 more, will I be able to eat? Like that. So the so-called happiness is a very, like a small impulse kind of thing, in between so-called so by nature it's a dukkhalayam. It's a place of misery. So that's why the three tapa is called three tapa. So we are always inflicted with 3 tapas, always. Tapas are miseries, sufferings. Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik. So these are 3 tapas we are always inflicted with. Nobody is immune to it unless one who has surrendered to Krishna. Then they will be matras pashastu kuntaya sitoshna sukhudukkha. One will be able to be very immune to it because one has surrendered to Krishna. But if a soul is not surrendered to Krishna, they will experience this matra sparshasta kaunteya. They will experience this happiness, distress, good, bad, happiness, unhappiness. All this one will be experiencing all this.
Second question you told from birth to death, this fate is written for a certain duration of time. What if in case someone, because society says someone is young in the 20 years, young they are getting suicide something, what happens for that soul?
Yeah, so certainly Prabhupada also says that forcefully killing oneself, yes, death is natural. Even Prabhupada says in this, death is natural does not mean that I can just go on killing spree and kill anyone. So he is not saying that to Arjuna also. Krishna is not telling you have to kill because of him. Similarly here also, if we understand the life's purpose, we try to utilize the life for the right purpose. For such people, lack of proper guidance, they try to misutilize the great opportunity that Krishna has given to us. Suppose if that the jiva so-called, who has really forced himself with a suicide, in the next life, if he gets a dog or cat or monkey or something, what he will do? Right? He took the very grave step of killing himself because something is favorably is not happening to him. Okay. Now in the next life he becomes a monkey. What he can do? He can't do anything with the monkey. So it's all because of lack of guidance. That's the reason it's very much required. The current the generation is also very impulsive, reactive, no patience, right? So Prabhupada says that if you want a mango today, can you get a mango today? You have to wait until summer, isn't it? When summer comes, you have plenty of mangoes. So
many years and thereafter.
Right. So, but we don't want to wait. Prabhupada says very jokingly, if a newly married couple, in the next day they want a baby, no, it's not possible. Right. So just like that. Yes, you want it, good. You want certain things, have the patience. Endure for it. Right. Endure for it, have the patience. But unfortunately, the current generation does not have patience. It is only the patience one can get things in the life. Being rushing and pushing ourselves, things may not happen or will not happen. So yeah, it's unfortunate. That's the reason current generation, be it the youth or even the small child, just trying to start, from the early age itself, this education, this knowledge is very much essential. It truly makes them to stand to behave like a human. Otherwise, they will tend to cultivate these animalistic propensities and behave like animals in terms of, try to fulfill their own enjoyment. The animal is also like the animal does not care for fair or unfair. If a tiger is there, yes, it goes behind the animal. That's it. That's the nature. But human is not like that. Human is much superior to that animal, right? So I don't want to be just chasing the people just to fulfill my tongue, to fulfill my enjoyment, to get so-called enjoyment myself. I have better purpose in the life. That better purpose, unfortunately, is not understood or not known to the current generation, or even the elders also is not. We don't have to just limit it to only current generation. Even the person who is of 50, 70 also, he keeps switches on the TV from morning to evening, keeps on watching the news, world news, international news and all this. But what will happen? There is nothing in that. So most part of the news is all bogus and manipulated news. No reality in it. But they don't know how to use the time. They don't know, because somehow they spend their whole lifetime to read Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I have back pain, my eyes do not permit, I can't read, these are too small font, I can't read. These kind of excuses we hear from elders also. So that's why it is very important even to guide our own personal life, to guide our children, even to guide our parents in case our parents are not Krishna conscious, even to tell them, guide them. We have to set a good example to them by behaving in a Krishna conscious way. so that others will be influenced by our own behavior. How much ever I speak, I tell, yeah, maybe to certain extent one may feel, oh yeah, good philosophy, very good. But if I don't show by example, if any incident I get into and if I don't show by example, what is the use of this whole philosophy? Right? If Arjuna also, after hearing this whole philosophy, what did he do? He said that I act as you what you have instructed. Similarly, as I keep reading Bhagavad Gita, I also have to act what I am reading, what Prabhupada is saying, what Krishna himself is instructing. If I do not do that, there is no change in quality of my life. I will continue to suffer, I will continue to feel miserable. Anything else? Any other questions, comments? श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय। तय गौर प्रेमनंदे, हरि हरि बोल।